Hello, everybody. I'm attorney Aiden Kramer with the law office of Aiden Kramer in Colorado, and you're watching All Up in Your Business. I'm really excited about this episode because I'm doing something a little different. I was connected with a fantastic woman in Hawaii named Amanda Russell, and she is a tax professional, and her business focuses on teaching people how to do their own taxes and educating people on tax issues and how to do their own taxes. And she's got this fantastic program going on next month in March where it's basically a 8-week course to DIY your own business taxes. So I wanted to do a little collaboration with her to talk about 5 tips for doing your own business taxes. So let's just jump into it. Welcome, Amanda. I'm so glad you're here to join me, and I'm really excited about the information that you're going to be giving to everybody.
Thank you so much, Aiden. I'm very happy to be here. My business, UT-Do, makes educational resources for small business owners to make accounting, taxes, and money management simple so that you can focus on running your business.
And I think it's really valuable information that you give to people, because I know from my viewers, at least, everyone has tons of questions about taxes and business taxes, and so anything to make it easier. So let's get into the 5 tips for doing your own business taxes. What's the first tip?
The first tip is to understand your business tax form. And when you're self-employed, you actually do not have a business tax form to fill out. Unlike all of the other business types, corporation, S Corp, partnership, and nonprofits, they all have very complicated business tax forms that your business has to complete first before you as the owner worker can file your taxes. When you're self-employed, you simply file a schedule with your individual form that reports all of your income and expenses. The schedule is called Schedule C. It's very simple. It has your income and then all of your expenses, which we'll talk about next.
Awesome. And so that Schedule C, that applies for LLCs and sole proprietors mostly, right?
Yes. So to be self-employed, you just start working for yourself. You don't form a business with the state. But the one exception to that rule is a LLC with only one owner, the single member LLC. Because the LLC is not a recognized entity for tax purposes, you default to be taxed as self-employed. And now you can make an election to be taxed as an S Corp, but that does add a lot of complications. While you can save taxes, the only reason I recommend doing that is if your business is taking home a lot more money than the average salary that you would be paid at a similar position at a similar company in your area.
Okay. So you mentioned write-offs, and I know that's a big thing for business owners because we obviously, all those write-offs help us reduce how much tax we're going to pay.
Exactly. So a lot of people ask what write-offs are. And it's really not that complicated. They're simply anything that you get to deduct to reduce your income before calculating taxes. So you have them on your personal tax return and you have them on the Schedule C for your business. Basically, all of your business expenses, legitimate business expenses that you spend to earn income in your business, qualify. The IRS definition is just that they're ordinary and necessary, which just means that they're helpful and appropriate for your business, normal expenses, and that there's no personal use of the write-off involved.
Well, so one thing that I was excited to learn that I could write off was some of the makeup that I buy, because I buy super heavy-duty caked-on makeup for these videos, and I never wear them in my normal everyday life. So when my CPA told me I could deduct those, that was great, because then I can buy all these nice fancy makeups and take a deduction for it. So there are a lot of things that you might be buying that you don't know that you could take a write-off or a deduction for.
Exactly. And that's the key. You nailed it. The key is that the expense is something that you're only using for your business. So that makeup you're not wearing in the regular day-to-day of your life. And that's the key to being a legitimate business expense.
Right. So let's get into tip number 3 for doing your own business taxes.
Fantastic. So tip 3 is to have a separate business bank account. And I know that this is something that's recommended by legal professionals as well. When it comes to your records and your taxes, it can be so much easier to have all of your income and expenses coming out of one bank account. So it's all in one place. And often people will say if they just have a little side business that maybe they don't think they have that many write-offs. But when you're not keeping track, usually people end up having way more than they realized when they actually keep track.
Yeah, absolutely. Separate bank accounts, aside from the tax benefits from the legal standpoint, is crucial. So step number 4.
Step 4, this is required for taxes, and it's to maintain a complete and accurate accounting record. And all that means is one spot where all of your income and expenses is kept track of. So when you have the business bank account, it can be very easy to use software like QuickBooks for Self-Employed or Xero, and you link the bank account so that all the transactions are recorded in your accounting software automatically. It's fine to use a spreadsheet, but that can be a little more work. It's really whatever is easier for you to maintain, because that's the most important thing, that it's maintained on a regular basis. The one other really important thing in your accounting record is that you keep track of the business purpose, and that's what they look for when you're audited.
What do you mean, that the business purpose of the purchases?
Exactly. So makeup, you would want to write down how it was only used for business. And that's really important to have in your records. And it can be pretty difficult to go back in time and go through all of that stuff. The other key one that's for that a lot of people don't take is your meals and entertainment. And you should totally take meals and entertainment. It's a legitimate business expense, but you do need to be certain you keep track of who was at the meals and entertainment and what that business purpose was, as far as a little bit more specific than your other write-offs, as far as what the conversation was, just a quick phrase to document that business purpose. And that's what tax courts often get people on, is not having that documentation.
All right. And then what is tip number 5 for doing your own business taxes?
So tip number 5 is using a really good DIY tax software online. There are some great ones now. I'm sure you've heard of TurboTax. They are the largest DIY tax software. I actually recommend FreeTaxUSA, nospaces.com. I'm not an affiliate of them, but I should be, because I love them and I recommend them to everyone. They do your federal return free. And then your state is only $12.95 right now. So it's super affordable. And that is what I teach in my course as well, how to go through that one. It's a bit faster and clearer than TurboTax. TurboTax is just so large that they tend to have a lot more options and beta options. FreeTaxUSA I've just found to be the simplest one I've used. I just helped someone with their taxes, and it took us about 40 minutes total, and they had a small side business, W-2s, and that was it. We were done.
Do you recommend that people do that themselves, or is it generally better to have a bookkeeper or a professional do it?
When you're starting out, it certainly makes sense. If you're providing services, it can certainly make sense to do it yourself. Now, that can be really hard to do if you try to figure it all out yourself. So I provide one-on-ones with people to help them get all set up, and then maybe work with a tax person at the end of the year. Obviously, if you're only making, under maybe $30,000, it may not make sense for you to pay a bookkeeper. If you sell products, I highly recommend always going the route of hiring someone. But realize a lot of people get stuck in hiring a bookkeeper and thinking that the bookkeeper knows tax rules and accounting rules. They do not. I do provide those types of services. And of course, I have the higher level. And then I work with other people as well to oversee the process. So that's one thing to be aware of and to really talk to someone about before you hire them, to see what their specialty is. Most bookkeepers, their specialty is a software, not the professional knowledge.
Okay. Good to know. So as you mentioned, when you're first starting a business, or if your business isn't making a whole lot of money, you're going to try to do most things on your own if possible. One of the great things is that you are offering a course to teach people how to do their own business taxes, right?
Exactly. Yes. My course is called the Simplified Self-Employed Tax Course, and it's for self-employed. You might be a single member LLC or just working for yourself. And in this course, it's 8 weeks. We have a live workshop, like class, each week where we come together and we go over everything you need to know. And then you go into breakout rooms in a really cool virtual classroom where you'll be connected with other people in your similar situation as far as industry or if you're behind in taxes, and you'll work together and separately, of course, at the same time, catching up and doing all the stuff that you'll learn in the class to get your records in place, file your taxes, and be set up to be automated going forward, like we talked about in these various tips for taxes. The course is set up to really help people through the whole process and completely focused on applying all the rules to you as a self-employed person and setting up these records that we're talking about, filing your taxes, even yourself with DIY tax software. That's really the type of thing that if you're comfortable with doing it yourself, softwares do make it very easy nowadays. I'll also help you work with CPAs, how to find one, how to make sure they're a good fit, and how to work with them going forward. Understanding the process and how to work with them is really important. And having these records all set up so that you're able to be up to date. And when tax time comes, you have no surprise.
That sounds great. And if anyone is interested in taking that course, which I suggest you do if you're going to be trying to do your own taxes, I'll have a link to the registration page for that down in the description. And the really great part is if you register by February 28th, you get a big discount on the registration course fees, but registration is going to be open until what, March 4th?
Yes, Friday, March 4th.
Okay, perfect. So you definitely want to sign up soon, and the sooner the better because it'll help you save a little bit more money. And if you have any other questions or want to learn more about taxes, Amanda has her own YouTube channel as well, and she puts up a bunch of great videos explaining all sorts of different topics having to do with taxes and business taxes and everything you need to know. So I'll have a link to her channel in the description below, and I suggest you check that out as well.
Thank you so much, Aiden.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. As we mentioned, if you want to learn more about Amanda or about her course next month or watch her videos, all of those links are going to be in the description below. Go ahead and give a thumbs up if you enjoy these video collaborations. I know I enjoy them because I get burnt out from just talking to myself all the time in these videos. So hopefully you guys enjoy these collaborations as well, and hopefully they're valuable information for you. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Aiden Kramer, and I'll see you next time.